With that, over
Stanislav, wherever you are.
to Keith Dixon, Taz, drummer, Honeypot.
Yeah.
So the IP address up there, the IP address right here. So since there's only one laptop here that can attack it,
And hey, Wolf, you have client isolation on your wife's wireless now?
probably not.
Oh, I didn't know that would kick in or not.
Yeah, because I can't finger forward with that.
I guess that ain't gonna work. What I can,
First, you have to break the Wi-Fi.
what I can do, if anyone is interested, email me and I can get you the third IP address, which I use for this, and I'll fire up whichever honeypot you want. You can attack it from there.
Hey, email.
That'll be at the end.
All right.
So this seemed to be about the funniest picture I could find. Hey, at the end of the day, this was really totally worth both of them. So here's the agenda. A little about me. What is a honeypot? Different kinds of honeypots. The honeypots I used and the interesting different data stuff. Let's see. I'm a husband, a father, a geek. I get distracted by shiny objects really easy. And I say that because I realized Friday that, oh crap, Thursday's around the corner. I had 60% of this done, so it's all done. I break and fix it. What is a honeypot? Get this apart. Not sure if anyone knows the show Duck Dynasty, but when I saw this, I threw in this clip.
Oh, that looks safe. She's not giving up the knees. Of course it's safe.
Running at full speed.
Jack Nicholson, or movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
Only a few seconds. No, this is down in Louisiana.
Yeah, but those are addictive down there.
Oh.
Dumber and Dumbest?
Oh, yeah. And they're millionaires.
I was going to say they're rich.
That's not a honeypot.
They obviously inherited their money.
Gator dude!
I don't think they did. Obviously did not hear that Freakonomics about money.
What is exactly a honeypot? The guy that seems to be the first guy that started the researching into honeypots, Lance Stittner, defined it as an information system resource whose value lies in unauthorized or illicit use of that resource. XT Service Pack 0, that can be a honeypot.
Telling us you're a pimp now.
Throw up some honey files, stuff that look important, and so many different definitions. There's three different kinds. There's high interaction, medium interaction, and low interaction. The high interaction, of course, is the closest to a real thing. Medium is medium. Low interaction is just meant to kind of simulate everything. Here's some of the high interaction honeypots that I've ran across. Argos is supposed to be a 0-day simulator. High interaction honeypot analysis toolkit, I cannot remember for the life of me. But I found it on honeynet.org. I'm going to capture HPC to draw a blank. Honeywall, that's a pre-built CD. You load the system. I think it's CentOS 3.5. I tried loading it on this. Network card drivers stopped. Or anything commercial, take a Windows operating system, no service pack. It can be a honeypot too. Even one medium interaction honeypot I ran across Kippo, which I got on here. I can tell a little bit about. There seems to be a lot of the low interaction ones. Nepenthes, that's new, and Dynea, those are malware-based honeypots. Blastoff, web application honeypot. Google Hack, that's search engine honeypot. Honey C and Honey D, kind of drawing a blank on those. Cajoni's SSH. A Moon is a Python base. Just drop it and run. Opens up a ton of ports and is open for any kind of malware dropping. Thug, that was supposed to be a client-side honeypot, but I could never get the dang thing to work, no matter which operating system I tried. And there's some other commercial ones for your Windows-based, Spectre, KF Sensor, and Honeypot. So here's my setup at home. I got my CleanNet, because I got wide open lists. I got 3 IP addresses. My CleanNet, which I have my licensed son's laptop on. I got my dirty net, which is my desktop. So I got a 3rd IP address. What could I do with it? This perfect thing for it is I found a really good use for a network. I got big fingers, and this is a tiny keyboard. So might as well put it to good use. Here's some of the honeypots I use. I use Kippo, Moon, Glasssoft, and Dyna, which I ran 2 rounds of Dyna. One was locally on this, and one in the cloud. Here's a nice little chart that I found of all the main ports that are opened up on the different honeypots for Moon, Nepenthes, and Dyna. You can see that it gives plenty of attack opportunity. And plenty of attack opportunity. And plenty more. So yes, a Moon is, I would call a Moon the 2-bit whore of the honeypots. It just opens itself wide up. Seriously. The Moon, interesting one I ran across, Python-based, like I said, emulates a wide range of vulnerabilities. Payload transmitted by the attacker is analyzed. You set up the config file right. You can, I think it's anubis.com, where you can get it analyzed and have the information in your log files in no time flat. And then there's Glasssoft, Web Application Honeypot, another one written in Python. Gives you opportunities for remote file inclusion, local file inclusion, HTML injection via post request, and dual injection emulation. And then there's Kippo. Kippo got real interesting.
Can I ask you a quick question? Sure. The previous one, what does it emulate, LAMP or Windows?
I think it's LAMP. Kippo, SSH honeypot, meant to log every kind, like a particular brute force attack, and grab the entire session that when an attacker is attacked. Set up your own fake file system with this where they can read and write to it too, and you can even throw in additional commands that are simulated on the system so that when the attacker is logged in, it seems like a real system, but it will reply the way you want it. Here was a rather interesting screenshot that I found. This guy was running it. You can see in that particular line the guy's trying to run ls.py. Oh, really? What? Oh, really? Really? So you see how you can customize. Really screw with the script kit. And I plan on it. Dyna is all about catching bugs. It's meant to be the Nepenthes successor. It's fully Python emulated scripting environment. It detects shellcodes, and it even has a voice over IP module. So here is an nmap scan. I first started playing with this. A Dyna with Dyna is completely off. See, it finds nothing. So I turn on Dyna, and you can see it opens up a lot. HTTP 21, 4280, 135. But one thing I did notice, if you do a deep scan, you can obviously see that it's a honeypot by the SSL cert.
It doesn't really hide the fact.
Yeah, it doesn't hide it because I think it's about 3 or 4 years old, but it's still in use in a lot of places. I found a lot of websites that have their own.
Can you complete the cert?
I'm not sure. Someone who might have more knowledge than me maybe could.
Is it a boot a live CD or
Not solvable.
should be able to replace the cert then?
Possibly, but
You said it's Python enabled or it's written in Python?
it's got a Python embedded for the scripting.
Okay. So it wouldn't be as easy as just modifying the code for the script itself.
Possibly. It's definitely above next to the level.
While we're on questions, I should notice a lot of these have pretty good questions on there.
I think this one was based on
I think like Diana, old Thomas, Egyptian.
Yeah.
That was another one. Like it's also reason.
well, one thing I do know is Dyna is supposed to be the technical term for the Venus flytrap.
Okay.
I think the Nepenthes is a similar bug catching plant. So my first round was just running it up on this at home.
Which honeypot was this?
This was Diana. I ran this up at home, thought, okay, I've got the third IP address. Let's see what happens. So I ended up capturing a nice amount of data. But where it got interesting, I caught one malicious execute. I meant to add the unique IP addresses, but that's part of me getting distracted by shiny objects. On the first day, I got 44 unique IP addresses, and it took about 15 minutes before I started getting to connections. So here's a rundown of some of the interesting tests I ran across. You can see that 184.171, I got about 69 hits from that one. You can see the popular attack port for this one home was Telnet. Here's some information that I dug up on the some of the top offenders. 184, 171, 169.60. Secured Servers LLC. It appears to be a hosting site. I think they're based out of Arizona. And there was about 18 IP addresses in that near vicinity, and some of those looked a little on the shady side.
Now, did you pull this up manually or did the honeypot?
This I pulled up manually, as in the information on the attack.
Okay.
At the tcp/utils.com, there's even a great Chrome plugin. I think they even got a plug for that one. And the other top offender was 74.63. I traced them back to Limestone Networks. So it's probably another VPS someone has set up or compromised server. One interesting tool I got playing with, and I think I got this information from it, was Network Miner. I was able to load the PCAPs that I caught from this and break it down to the OS and the OS versions and such. One that I found real interesting, I got 2 hits from a XT2000, or a bunch of Windows 2000 ones / XP Service Pack 1. And most everything seemed to be coming over Ethernet modem. So the first day, I had the goal of just getting it up and running, seeing what could happen. Capture some traffic and let it go from there. I think I started about 2:55. The first real attacker, which was me, I was doing an in-map scan, see if it was really active. once I kicked off the Nmap scan, oh, I lit up like a Christmas tree. And the first real connection was about 6:58. And the second day, figured out, let's run a capture building because I was getting much ARP traffic. And I think it was by 11:22, I got the first malware. 6957.27.138. TFTP session dropped the malware, and then about 3 hours later, they came back to try it all again. Here was the malware that they dropped. When Dyna gets any kind of malware, it renames the file to MD5 zone. So I ran it up on VirusTotal and found 40 or 42 detection ratio. Turned out it was something called RBOX, a malicious backdoor Trojan that runs in the background and allows remote access to a compromised system. Well, here's a little things that I found out about the computer that dropped the malware. There's my TCP/IP utility plug. So I traced the IP address back to Algona Municipal Utilities in Iowa. There it is, out in the middle of nowhere, right? So there's the website that I found. There's the web page. From that, I can kind of assume that it's just someone's home Windows system that is infected and dropping the malware. I can only assume that it's part of a zombie gun. So round 2, let's take it to the cloud. So I found an interesting article. 20 minutes and you can have a Dyna running up on an Amazon EC2 instance. To the cloud. So I set one up in Virginia, Oregon, South America, Ireland, and one in Tokyo, thanks to Kudo. So they were all set up on 1204 micro instances. I was unfortunately unable to use Singapore because I'll definitely say that I was doing something wrong because after I set this up and had the free Amazon EC2, it cost me $72 later. Maybe I didn't read something right, but it kind of goes back to the first Winnie the Pooh picture. It's totally worth it. So the amount of malicious files that I found up in the cloud, you can see Virginia had a couple. Oregon, nothing. South America got one. Tokyo got one. But you can see Ireland lit up. And I think that was within a 24-hour time period. So the 3 in Virginia ran through VirusTotal. And if you set up your Dyna config file right, if you give yourself a VirusTotal API key, put that in your config file, it will automatically do this information and begin your log SQL file, which I think at that time I forgot about doing. So as you can see, configure. Configure seems to be going around a lot. Here's some interesting stats. The popular port of attack seemed to be MS SQL Server, port 1443. And then the net BIOS shares. And SQL Server and Active Directory, Windows shares, net BIOS session servers, and then RDP. So the first top offender is located in China, according to TCP/IP utils.
Cyber war.
Yep.
Yeah, I finished my coffee.
And his popular attack port was 1443. Another one in China.
China Telecom. I'm off stock with that one.
Yep. And the third file just happened to come from a place in Bulgaria.
Thank you.
Omega Optics Ltd.
That's a Chinese spy.
But the other interesting thing that I found, on the same page for TCP/IP utils, you have spam lookup database. This one had 2 hits. Next malicious file located in Chicago. Here's the web page. Tech Muscle. Everything? So there it is. Right up in Indonesia. And the third one, it was from Taiwan. And yep, this is the web page it traced back to. And it looks ready.
Before you get up and dance.
Hey Keith, got a quick question.
Yeah.
When you go to those sites, because that's the second one I've noticed with that kind of format, right? I missed the other ones. Are you doing that from your home? Are you doing that from someplace else?
Most of this I did from home. I'm just going to the site just to grab a snapshot. Doing it on a Linux laptop that I can easily reload.
Did anyone serve up any malware?
No. Didn't appear to.
Probably just customized stuff or compromised hosts.
Yeah.
That would seem to be.
Some of the stuff might just be the
I
IP
did have
page.
one question over.
Yeah, well,
Sure. You mentioned the municipal utility in Iowa.
Yeah.
Why did you think that was somebody in those boxes was a zombie going back to their website?
Well,
It looked kind of like just a rural cable.
it looked just like a rural cable internet service.
Utility companies do often provide the internet access for those around them.
I mean, this looks like it could be kind of a Iowa equivalent of White Open West or Comcast.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're saying it originated from inside their network. No,
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably look under that DNS, or that domain name, and look under how many IP addresses they have.
Yeah.
Go, oh, okay.
Now to South America. This one, I think I got about 6 hours into it. Just a simple little IRC box with a 32:41 ratio off the virus total. And he came from Russia. Now off to Tokyo. According to the log SQLite folder, or log SQLite file, it appears to have tried to drop 2 files, but the one didn't save for some reason. It looked like it tried to kick off an SMB session from 87.241.82.99. But the other one that did save is Trojan proper. And the SMB session looks like it came from Sweden. Some interesting stats from Tokyo. The attack port of preference seemed to be MySQL database. It looked like they were trying a bunch of SQL injections on this. And port 176. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Couldn't find anything on it. Couldn't find anything on port 34354. 3435, yeah.
I don't know about SQL injection, but maybe they're trying to use the authentication.
SQL injection or the authentication. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you could use SQL injection.
So here are the different IP addresses that were attacking Tokyo. And you can see how many times. I think I looked up the first 2.
Keith?
Yeah.
Were those ports you didn't know what was going on? Did you take a look at what it was presenting as protocol on those ports?
Well, unfortunately, Didn't get any network capture on that one. South America, I don't think I got any network capture on.
But I mean, what does, obviously that was an open port. Does it just open every port so it responds to it? Or does it, or could you look to see what kind of service was on that? Maybe that would tell you what service it was emulating on those ports.
Oh, that, I'm not sure.
Okay, just wondering.
Okay. So it looks like the first attacker came from Florida. ServerCentral.com. If you want to attack.
Seems legit.
Another hosting. And here's China now. They were number 2 on the list. Now we take it to Ireland, where things really lit up. And I think there's a time frame span of 24 hours. There were a total of 40 different files that were dropped. You can kind of see a pattern. You see a lot of configured. A whole lot of configured. So now you can see why at DerbyCon they celebrate Happy Birthday MS-08067. If you want to go on a pen test and you want to hit MS-08067, go to Ireland. See, there's a lot of configured ahead.
I'm making a guess that there's a lot of Windows XP machines that are unlicensed in
Unlicensed, unpatched, whole 9 yards.
No, that must be all those Chinese spies in Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh no, Chinese don't pirate. No.
Oh, all right.
So it seemed like the popular attack port in Ireland was MySQL.
What?
Next to MSSQL.
Do you see what they were sending? I don't know if I'm
If it's set up where you can capture the what's called by stream, and there's a utility script that you can run from Dynea to replay the information. I haven't had any luck with that yet.
It'd be interesting to see what they're trying to do on 336.
Yeah.
They're just going with root, and they're just trying to auth on root or something.
Well, I know some of the log SQLite folders, there is data regarding the authentication that it's trying to make, especially the MySQL stuff. So most of the popular IP addresses are just kind of charted out. See, a lot of them seem to be coming from China, of course. Some of the interesting notes that I found, first one, the top one, on one of 4 STAM databases. The other 2. One real interesting one seemed to be from Wichita, with 26 different IP or websites near this IP, including datedmarriedwomen.org. Well, where it got? Oh, that was
Milk hackers.
And then the other interesting and then the other one, the one in Taiwan, seems to be the same website where the malware came from Virginia. So the one that was dropped in Virginia is traced back here too. Now on to Kippo. And I only have one IP address of someone who was attacking because the short time frame that I ran it was just one guy. Kippo being the SSH honeypot. 31 different IP addresses around this guy. Here's the website it traces back to. And we're hosting. Yeah. So right here's all the passwords and account names that this guy tried.
Wow.
Whoa.
Change your password.
And I think the
He won't troll you the whole time.
hey, I got data, so.
There's no gas on there.
What's this being tried out? What's it?
This was on Kippo.
Well, what's Chinese password?
It's trying to know that's long.
Okay, Germany.
Login.
That's the stage, yeah.
Yeah, that guy has to take login.
Anything else you do in Germany?
Apparently not.
He's
See,
addicted.
Yeah.
he ran a lot.
Those are gonna work.
Sims 2.
ARPANET.
Yeah, he's like,
Oh, I'm giving up.
and I think the default password on it is that the account name is root and the password is 12345.
That's the same combination as my luggage.
And I think with one of the utility scripts, you can set up multiple passwords that anyone can attack it with. So it could be root 1234 or root password. They can try these different combos and they can get in. All of this started 10 p.m. November 5th. Here's when it started, and I shut it down 4:51 the next day. 229 attempts from one single IP. Going to my home ISP. Some guy in Germany. Now onto a Moon. Here was an interesting one that I found. Captured this network. Someone trying to run, this guy trying to run PHP myadmin, set up that PHP. Back from China. So I got digging into the network trace. I took that. I converted that from URL decoding. Notice the FTP hawkish.co.uk, IEH.ICO.
And you got an ID and password too.
Yeah.
Ooh. What'd you find?
It's a real FTP server.
What did you find when you logged in?
They didn't get in.
Nope.
Bob didn't get in with that ID and password. But I also
have to work at it.
But I also found someone on the Ubuntu forums ran into the same problem where they were having a bunch of logs from this attack here. Their web server was compromised. So here's the website. It seems to be a auto dealer over in the UK. Got to open that FTP.
Did you end up with a nice car?
No,
Being delivered.
unfortunately, no. Now I ran
Beater for Kid Zero.
He will hate you forever.
Well, the next one I fired up was Glasstalk in a web application Honeypot. Some of the interesting ones that I ran across. This guy here trying to run judge.php. This guy trying to run judge.php.
They try to find open relaying proxy.
So you're being judged.
Well, here's some of the resources that I want to share. HoneyNet projects, really good site for all kinds of Honeypot information and other ways to study attackers. There's a website, Dynea, and Honeywall. If anyone wants to try to fire up Honeywall and get one working, I dare you to, because apparently my hardware is too new. Then I ran across a Moon, which is Python-based. I found a SourceForge, and then Kippo. I listed these examples where someone blogged about it, and they had some rather interesting Kippo stories. If you want to get some good, funny read, go to these two blog sites and list how they were screwing around with these script keys. And another one that I ran across was shadowserver.org. Really good website, and SpiderWeb seems to have a distributed web honeypot project. So if anyone would be interested in that, and the other websites that I'd used to dig into. The tools I was using, Wireshark, of course. Network Miner, I'd say, is a really interesting tool. Load up any PCAP and it sorts through the information in a really nice way, and you even carve out the files too. I found this out accidentally by loading up a PCAP on a computer, and all of a sudden the virus detection went off. Oh yeah, shit, I didn't know it could do that. It just carved out the file, and then next thing you know, the virus is saying, oh, you got a virus here. So I found this guy on Twitter. Tom Liston has a honeypot set up to where he just feeds the information. You can see getting a bunch of RFI attacks from, I'm not sure the
Great Britain.
Okay, Great Britain, Bangkok.
He is
Germany.
Germany.
Germany, okay.
Or right west there is a line of the state in Germany.
So that's kind of an interesting one to look at every so often. And I found this one, Honeypot blog. All this does is just spit up the MD5s of whatever file that gets dropped on it. So I'm kind of thinking this might be a Dianea-based honeypot too. And then there's the HoneyNet project.
Hi, Mark.
Some books that I ran across from the HoneyNet project. They put up Know Your Enemy and Virtual Honeypots. Malware Analyst Cookbook goes into Dianea, Nepenthes, but it mainly touches on Dianea. While these two books are a little on the old side, I think one by Keith Dixon was dated 2002, and the Paradigm to Information Security is dated 2004. Still some good info. Any question?
So did you see anything that suggested that there was human interaction behind any of these? Or automated botnet, automated scanners?
Well, I know the one from Iowa that I got on this one, that one seemed bot related.
Yeah.
Because about 3 hours later, he came back and tried to drop the same file.
Oh, really?
As you can see in the log SQLite file, it's dropping the same file name too.
Yeah. I also see tons of people with FTP and SSH trying to the same 20 username and logins or whatever.
Yeah.
What are they trying to do when they do that? Just use that as their own personal file server? Or?
Probably.
Yeah, and
Like, what would you do from that?
like my home system constantly, the SSH gets
Yeah.
test and Oracle.
Yeah.
So they're essentially they're trying to find a staging server somewhere.
Just to, like,
that's
serve up.
I mean,
Or they're trying to use it as a cloud at some point.
right, or it's just the fact that they're trying to find a server that's out there that's not been well administered.
Yeah.
Or, the more systems you have, the more likely it's not going to be in one of the lists to be blacklisted.
well, here's an interesting video I ran across on YouTube. The guy put this up, a Kippo Honeypot he was running. And it looks like the attacker is, you can see the attacker is, they're doing the attack right there. It's right there, he's running. Who is this guy? That's coming from Romania. So he switches back to the other tab to watch. So he's trying to download a file.
This is erotic for it to be.
Yeah. This Kippo will let you interact with the file system, but it limits you. So right there, he's trying to get into other folders, trying to run some stuff, and you know what?
So how did the guy make this video? Is Kippo?
Not sure. I just Found it on YouTube. I think there is 2 or 3 other ones on YouTube.
I'd be interested in actual people marketing, you know.
Well, that one's totally an actual person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Are you interested in actual people rather than botnets, or are you just interested in finding out which one's more prevalent?
Well, I know for a fact botnet automated are.
Oh, botnets.
They don't sleep.
So you're looking at the Chinese spies.
Yeah.
Way faster.
They're going to be a little bit more, oh, they're not going to just scan your passport, not log in and then go somewhere else. They're going to continue.
They're going to do an automated scan, get an email later.
Yeah.
Just as if you Dearborn did when I was there.
Action.
You watch somebody try to break in, and then
Just want to cue it.
pops up in their TTY saying, yeah, I patched that 2 months ago. Just want to let you know.
Thanks for checking.
Log in.
Start doing it. Was it a wall so you could talk between prompts or something? I forget what it is. It ended up it makes any technical session you can it ends up basically popping a message. So you can actually end up kind of like Messenger for.
So where are you going from here, Tess?
Guess that's it.
I mean, now that from here, now that started in terms of the presentation. Thank you. No, I mean, what are you going to be playing with now?
I'll probably be playing with more Honeypots on this, just throwing up ones I didn't get a chance to play with.
What's your favorite right now?
Right now, Diana was interesting to capture the malware, but Kippo, pretty interesting. Just to see people trying to
with people too.
because I want to change some of the files and give them that opportunity, like it's a real system, and watch them interact with it. And counting, I got the 3 IP addresses, and this one's on its own. Rape away. Seriously.
Now.
I can just reload this. I've got the other 2 IP addresses, which are safe enough in their own right.
What shadows are? I was looking into that at one point. I don't know.
Well, I had emailed the guy back in June,
Yeah.
volunteer. Got a reply in July. I'd asked for some more info. Sent the info.
But
Nothing.
they said they're selective on their website.
So, just to kind of give a follow-up on that, I emailed the guy just last week and asked, did I fall between the cracks? And then he replied back, oh yeah, sorry. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? So I sent him my LinkedIn profile, sent the resume, waiting to hear back. Well, I just want to give the guy as much information.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can,
You want to make sure you're not one of the remaining
let's check on the background.
Yeah.
I'll give him whatever information because I'd like to volunteer and get involved
How
in
do you
that.
volunteer?
So
Like you.
just send me an email.
You send them your email. No. Well, I'm saying, what volunteer? Like how
Well, if you go to the Shadow Server website, there's,
or my signature.
I can't remember, I think it's jobs@shadowserver.org. I think that's it. But it's got the information out there where you can contact them. And I'll go ahead and
record like 10 hours a week and stuff like that. And they say stuff like that.
something like that. But if the guy ever gets back to me, I'll say I can do a couple hours a night. It's family.
Yeah.
I can do some on the weekends. I'll do whatever I can. See where it goes from there. It seems like a good learning opportunity.
What about honey tokens? You ever spot anything on that?
I read a little bit about it, but didn't get too much into that.
What are honey tokens? Like, I don't know, like file on your desktop that says passwords on it, you know, and then someone interacts with it, triggers an alert, or something in your database, you know, fake entries, or
Stuff that make them to small files, not entire OSs or something like this, but
or legitimate.
or like the file that'll call back to you so you know what
And all of these honeypots were pretty easy to install.
So you checked out Honeypot?
What is Honeypots?
It makes fake, so kind of like some of the Python scripts, I'm assuming. It basically just makes fake surfaces. So you can kind of end up kind of writing your own fake surfaces.
Sounds like a
You can make your own kind of responses back and forth.
Oh, it's interactive to the point where you can take whatever protocol that you know well enough and set it up to
You can
respond.
even do a back hack too, where it tries to connect. You can try to come back to them, Adam. Some people are starting to thought about that. I think it was Astorian brought that up about bringing the sexy back, about being offensive defender or something.
Active defense.
Active defense, yeah. Offensive defender.
If anyone wants a copy of the data that I got from at least the first couple of phases in the round for Glastoff and Kippo and such like that, let me know. I can get you the info. I'll throw it up on a Dropbox
For malware analysis purposes.